sitting all alone. Time to hit the liquor store, These some trees that I can blow, Now I copped it for low. Now I'm ready to put it on ya, Hit the California, When we look at bring bud, let's get fucked up.
Hello everyone, and welcome to part 5 of the ABC integration series. In this basic tutorial, I'll show you how to create the inventory from Game Creator, but with weapons, from ABC. That was a really common question. Let's get started, hope you enjoy. First of all, let's open the package manager. Now we search for the inventory module and import them. I already have it imported. Then you can close the window. What we do now, we open the module manager. To do this, we go to the Game Creator menu, Module Manager. Here, we have to activate the module and the module examples in order to import the currently missing files. After you have it imported, you can close the window. In the next step, we create some empty game objects. Note, you don't need to do that exactly as me, but it will help you for better follow. Let's go to the hierarchy. There we click right mouse button and create an empty. Let's name it mechanics. With this object selected, we create 3 more empties: triggers, actions, conditions. When you are done, let's begin with the inventory UI. Important to know here, the inventory examples comes with a pre-made UI prefab. In this basic tutorial, we will use the pre-made one, but if you are interested on creating them entirely from scratch, let me know in the comments or on the ABC community Discord. All links you find in the description. First, let's search for the UI. Type inventory, scroll a bit down until you find the Inventory RPG Advanced Prefab. Once found, drag and drop it to your scene. After that, click for a little overview on 2D. Now scroll a bit out to see how it looks by default. Here we see our inventory UI. We have in currency, item weight, item filters, and our equipment slots. What we now have to do is open and close the inventory using an input. To do this, we click on Triggers. In the inspector, click on Add Component and search for Trigger. After we added them, we need to change the type. Let's click on Change. Input. On key down. Here we choose now the input key. I will use I. Now we will quickly unpack the prefab in our scene. To do that, with the prefab selected, right-click, Prefab, Unpack Completely. Then we open it. Click on Inventory, and go to the inspector, click the 3 dots on the animator component. Now remove component. This is necessary because otherwise, the UI will open and close instantly. Now, we select our inventory. Important here, choose the parent object. Once found, we uncheck it here to disable it. Once done, click on our created object, Conditions. In the toolbar, you can click now on Create Condition. In the inspector on the right, we now add a clause. For organizing, I will name it Inventory Open/Close. When you are done, click on Add Action. Here we go to Object and select Game Object Active. Now we drag and drop our disabled inventory in the empty field. Uncheck here to set it to inactive. When done, click in Next section, Create Action, then add action. Find object again, and find set active. Drag our inventory again inside the empty field. Then go to next section and click create action. On this little icon in the section before, you can copy the action and simply paste it on last section. After you paste it, uncheck the box. What have we done now? I tell you now. First, if our inventory is disabled, then our input will enable our inventory UI. Else, it will be disabled again. Very simple. Back to our trigger, we create a condition slot. In this slot we drag now our condition to activate our input. That one condition, inside our trigger object, you can delete. Now let's give it a try to see the result. Now, our input opens and closes our inventory UI. Awesome. Let's go to next step, the item creation. First we need to go to Game Creator's Preferences. To do this, go to the Game Creator menu, Preferences. On the left, we choose the Inventory section. In this new window, we have all the main functions of the inventory module. Here we go firstly to the Types menu. Here, you find the item types. Click in an empty field and write ABC/equipment/. In the second field, let's write weapon. Now we have created a new item category. This category, we need to set to any weapon we now create with ABC. Also, is this needed to say our UI where this item needs to be equipped, or if you want to filter them. Let's go back to our items. Here we have some pre-made items. In our case, we go to the weapon, sword. Once found, click on the plus icon to duplicate this item. You can drag it on the left to the bottom if you want. I will do this for better show. Now open the item by clicking on it. Let's begin with giving it a name. I name it ABC weapon. If you want to give it a description, you can do this here. Here you can choose your favorite icon. The prefab section, you can ignore. This is handled by ABC. The rest of the settings, you can play around. Price, stackable or not, can be sold or not, this is up to you and your needs. Here, we need to select now our newly created item type. One tip here, it's better to first select nothing, then choose the type. Otherwise it can be you have multiple types selected. The exiting action, we remove by clicking on the X on the right. As the next step, we go to the On Equip menu. Here we can also delete the action. After that is done, we start with the magic. Click on Add Action, and scroll down to ABC Integration. Here we are looking for the trigger weapon. In this action, you have first to set the target. But instead of player, we need to choose invoker. Then you can choose between weapon name and weapon ID. The ID makes more sense when you want to add many different weapons with different abilities. Next, we need to enable the weapon, what is already selected. In the last field, we need to write the name of our ABC weapon. Important here, this name needs to be exactly the same as you named an ABC. Let's write 1H sword for now. That's the default name of the one-handed sword. Now we need one more action. Let's click Add Action again, ABC Integration, Toggle Idle Mode. This is the new action I showed and explained in last update overview. First we need to set our target to invoker. Then we want to enable it, what is already selected. Once done, we can go to the Unequip menu. There we can also delete the exiting action, we don't need them. When you are done, you can click on Add Action. or we simply copy the actions from the equip menu, like that. Important here, you can only copy one action at the same time. After you have copied and pasted the actions, we go one last time to the on-equip menu. Here I made a deliberate mistake to explain something that many are doing wrong. It is very important that the actions you create are in the right order. In this case, for example, we first have our weapon in hand, and then on the back, without any animation or sense. So what we're going to do, we drag our action on the left side, up to the first place. When you are done, you can close this window. What we need to do next, fit our created settings with ABC. So let's click on our player and open in the inspector the ability manager. For me is this currently empty, because I use new project. So if you have already a weapon on your player, you can skip the import. If you don't have a weapon, click on the little icon right from the one-handed sword. In this window, we only check our modification type, and select the type you have. Then click import. Now we start with the setup. First we click on load global abilities. In the inspector, we click on modify weapon, to open our weapon settings. In the first category, we begin with the most important setting, the weapon enable option. This we need to uncheck, otherwise, our mechanic will loop between the enable states. The next setting we find in the animation overrides category. Here we need to check enable GC state integration. This option is new. I explained them in part 2 of the update overview. If you want to know more about this option, feel free to take a look. The states I will show in a separate part. After you are done, you can close this window. The last setting we need to set, we find in our controller manager. For this we click on our player again, and search them in the inspector. Once found, open them. Here, we go to the settings menu. Under general and errors we go to the idle mode section. Here is it important to keep them enabled. Without this, no idle mode exists on our item. Now you only need to choose your favorite key. The last option here is up to you. This option means you can attack or not when your weapon is on the back. When you set it all to your needs, you can close all windows for now. Now we enable our inventory for some clicks. After you have it enabled, and you can see it good, we need to set our equipment slot to our created one. To do that, choose one of them, and double-click on it. In the inspector you see now a slot component. Here we set our item type. That's all, now you can disable it again. For the last step, we create one more trigger. On start, is already the right one. Click on the action icon to create a slot. Let's rename it for keeping organized. I name it add item. I drag it onto actions for show as well. Inside our new action, click on add action, inventory, item. Here we choose our created ABC weapon. When you are done, it's time to test our work. Let's go into play mode. In your inventory you now see, we added the ABC weapon as item. Drag and drop it on the slot you changed. Awesome, now our weapon is on the back. You can draw, attack, shoot, or using skills. This was it for this part of the tutorial. I hope you learned a little something. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below, or on the ABC Community Discord. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.